Hello, everybody. Tommy Long here today. Let's discuss a topic that I think everybody has a misconception about: is the motor selections and as well as how the auto stop clutches actually work compared to the obstacle detection that's built into the Maestria motor. So, on the particular motor Maestria, okay, the Maestria motor has nothing on the end of it that has to do with an auto stop clutch. It's all built in internally. The Maestria motor has obstacle detection built into the motor. Basically, what that means is whenever an obstruction comes below a zipper track shade, not a cable guide, only a zipper track or something that has a fabric retention on the sides, it bumps it, it gets one full rotation, and then the tension that's on there realizes there's no weight on the fabric anymore, and it rolls itself back up 18 inches roughly to let you know there's something in the way. Basically, that is your obstacle detection. Now, on an Altus motor that has an auto stop clutch, as you can see here, it is the same motor, but it has an auto stop clutch on the end. Basically, that auto stop clutch is designed to, once it gets one full rotation, it stops the operation of the motor. It does not roll itself back up. So when the auto stop clutch is engaged, you have to lift the weight bar slightly to pull the object out from underneath, and you drop the shade down. Now you have to roll the shade slightly back up to re-engage the clutch and then roll it down after that. This is a service call, basically stopper. So by doing the obstacle detection or this, the shade doesn't keep unrolling and create a fold in the fabric that actually changes the limit in the way the shade rolls up or down. It doesn't change it internally, but it makes the motor think that the limit is different, because if the motor is spinning, there is magnets that count the revolutions. So when you set the limits, it counts those revolutions. Well, when that fabric creates a fold in it and then it starts lifting itself back up instead of going all the way to the floor, it is still counting the same way that you set when you were setting the limits. So it doesn't know any differently. What happens is the homeowners freak out, they roll it up. Well, you actually need to stop the shade before it rolls completely to the up position, because now it's counting and it's going to keep pulling, and it could tear the weight bar from the fabric, or it could shove the weight bar up into the housing. It could cause other things. The auto stop clutch was the first design to try and combat those service calls. Now, when you get a motor to change these out, or you have a motor that doesn't have, you have an Altus motor, sorry, that does not have an auto stop clutch. Either you forgot to order it, or let's say you ordered a right hand and you need it left hand. You cannot just flip this in the field because these clutches are handed. So basically, the clutch on the end allows this to free spin. So the easiest way to know if you have an auto stop clutch on your motor is a shade over 16 feet is going to free spin. So when you put that tube in the housing, it's going to free spin, meaning it's going to free spin one way more than the other. Now, on the end of these clutches, there is a right and a left. It's going to be kind of hard to see in the video, but there is a stamped number right or left. Now, these clutches come without this drive on it. This could be on the end of the motor, which this is the drive that you have that is going to be on the end of the motor. So let me show you how this snaps on. This actually goes on the tube, on the end of the motor, and it just snaps into place. There's two little spring clips that are inside of there. So if you need to remove this to put an auto stop clutch on, or even change an auto stop clutch, it doesn't matter. If the clutch is on here and you need to switch it out, it's the same way. There is, inside of here, there's two springs, and they're on just two of these little, push those springs in on one side, push the springs in on the other side, this comes right off. You slide the clutch on, there is that washer that you saw on the end of it. You have to take that off to slide this over the face of it. That's how you would change a clutch out. All the motors Somfy has, the 525, 510, 535, 525, 550 all have this same spring on the end of it. So it's going to be kind of hard to see in the video, but see those two little spring prongs there? That's what actually holds these on the end of the motor. Okay? But also, the other crucial thing is whenever you take these out of the tube, if you're not paying attention, this little slot right here has to fit the tooth on the crown of the motor. If you put it any other way, it's not going to operate correctly because it needs to be fit into that little spot. So it's actually catching, because if you put it anywhere else, it's going to bounce and it's not going to operate correctly because it thinks there's something wrong. And that's the way the motors are designed. But also the same way, if you get a motor without a clutch, it's the same thing. Those springs that are in there, so this has the auto stop clutch on it. It already has the drive on it. You just find those little spring clips and you push them in, and it actually, did I not get one of them? It actually comes right off. Snaps right back on. So this is an Altus 525 Altus motor that has an auto stop clutch on the end of it. So the easiest thing to always tell is if it free spins. If your drive or that tube free spins in the housing, that's what it does. Now, the reason why we don't use the bigger Maestria motors is because we're trying to keep the footprint of the shade system small. So we use a smaller housing with our normal tube. But the problem is when you get a lot of fabric on that tube, sometimes it gets a little bit of floating deflection as it's bouncing, as it's rolling up and down. That can rub against the housing, which engages the obstacle detection of the Maestria a little sooner than it really needs to be, because it thinks there's something wrong. So that's why we use the Altus with the auto stop clutch on shades 16 foot and above, only because that little bit of deflection that happens in the shades as the wind's blowing or whatever can cause different things. Now also, the auto stop clutch only works in the downward position. It's not designed to do anything in the upward, where the Maestria will work either way, either going down or up. So that's where the other misconception, everybody thinks the auto stop clutch, if it's going up, it's going to stop operation. It won't. It only works in the downward position. The Maestria, if the wind is blowing, or say something grabs a hold of the weight bar and holds it, it will actually trigger and come back down 18 inches to let you know that there's something wrong. So those are the two different between the auto stop clutch and the Maestria, and it's also how to change out a clutch or a drive on the end of a motor. I hope this helps everybody today. If you have any comments, please leave comments in the section below, and I'll be happy to answer anything as quick as I can. Thank you and have a great day.